Hi, Eva here, and this is a third part of the digital sketchbook tour on this channel, and I thought I will make it into series, so let's call it an episode. And now let's just open Procreate. I think we looked at this one previously. Same goes to this one. Oh, here is another one for the Norway illustration. So I wanted to add one more to the collection of these, so I kept the same or similar color palette, but I added animal or a character here, so you can look from the cliff on these cute houses. And I think this one was inspired by Lofoten Islands. Yeah. Because they have super cute houses there. Okay, if I move to the next one. So this one was inspired by Kyoto and some of the beautiful nature you have there. But then I thought like, oh, maybe I can put like the mountain in the background, which would be Mount Fuji, right? If I'm not mistaken, which you don't see that well from Kyoto, I think. If I'm not mistaken again, I will check that out. So anyway, this was inspired by Japan, and I actually had a lot of fun drawing this architecture and playing with these different textures for the trees. Here there was another exploration of the color palette from the illustration I did previously. So here I adjusted the colors a little bit, as you can see in the sky, but these type of explorations are definitely fun to make. Another ocean illustration with a little bit of seagulls here. And here I also played with more texture on the water, but it's not very finished illustration, but this would be also exploring and practicing the colors of the sunrise and sunset. We looked at similar one in the previous video, which is inspired by Vineyards in Azores. Yeah. I don't think this one had a specific, inspiration or like a location. So it was just spring in the mountains and a little bit of spring water. And as you can see, this one is a little bit more painterly compared to the previous ones. It's not cleaned up, but I really like the transition of colors, which I tried here in the background, and I added like simple character just in the background, walking a dog. Maybe next time I can add like a couple walking or a family or something like that. And here the colors are inspired more like Ghibli movies and some of the locations. In Totoro movie, it was so nice with the water. All the movies, they have beautiful illustrations and settings. Yeah. And here another one, walking a dog, why not? So maybe next time I can add a different story with these two girls walking a dog on the beach. Here I wanted to explore painting or just sketching clouds, which are like these cumulus clouds, which are like built up and fluffy and soft. So this was fun to explore in a sketchbook. This one is the Norway we looked at just a second ago. Here I wanted to explore more geometric shapes in basically landscape and sketchbook setting. And here, as you can see, I also tried like simplifying the fields and flowers more, just to bring even more geometry here. But, you have to explore. I found out I don't like it that much because it took me so long actually to create these geometric shapes, and I really prefer more the painterly style or just like adding more textures. Here I was exploring different ways to draw trees, kind of more like Candyland and round, not super realistic shapes, but different style of trees. I had quite a lot of fun creating these weird shapes. I like actually shapes on this and this tree a little bit more than on this one. I'm not a fan of this, but I mean, I already like finished it. Sometimes you have to like pause at some point and not continue with exploration and sketching forever, at least, you know, especially if you work for clients, you have to have deadlines and stuff. But here, when you're drawing for yourself, you don't have a deadline and you're like, oh, maybe I can spend more time. And then you know, draw on and add details on the same illustration forever. So anyway, that was one where I was like, okay, I need to stop. So here, similar concept. I wanted to create a little bit of water and simplified shapes for the ocean or sea. And I was inspired by the color palette that I created for the previous illustration in Rheinfall, the autumn illustration. But I feel like it's quite empty here, but wasn't my favorite illustration, so I just let it be and I'm like, okay, let's move on. So this one, I wanted to create something more painterly and play with different colors for this scene inspired by Italy. And this was actually quite fun to make. So I didn't include any characters in this one, which I think I can still add some characters. That can be fun. Overall, I like the colors of this one. Then I had like different settings here, which are not finished. I think I finished this one more here. Yeah, but maybe we can look first at this one. This is a very rough exploration. I wanted to do different layout. As you can see, it's more landscape and all of the other ones were more like square or, you know, like portrait. So this one is nice, different composition. I quite like it. And I should finish this one. That would be nice, or finish and add some details. So here I just explore more clouds, not crowds. And I just pasted some character here to see how that would look. Obviously it doesn't fit, or maybe it will at some point. Sketchbooking, right? Here I wanted to explore different type of water, not ocean, but more like a lake setting, where you have different colors reflected on the water surface. And then I included the same characters as I had before, just to add some life quickly into this sketch. So next time, I am saying next time a lot, but you know what I mean? Sometimes you just want to try things out very quickly in your sketchbook and then you're like, well, okay, I learned something. Maybe it's not my favorite, but I learned something. In this exploration, I really like the colors of the trees. They look a little bit more like fantasy or fantastic. You know, they can be in some fantasy land like, I don't know, Avatar or something like that. And yeah, so this was definitely different color palette for the trees that I'm used to or I usually try. So yeah, go me for trying new colors for the trees. And again, a little bit different shapes, as you can see, for the trees. And I explore more fluid tree trunks, which are like more twisted. Here I wanted to paint something more wintry and try different colors for the winter setting, which are not just white or blue. So I included some pinks and oranges in this one. I never really added that many details into this exploration, but I tried different brushes and yeah, it was good sketchbooking session basically. So yeah, I had fun during anyway, I had fun during this illustration while making it. So this one I wanted to include even more colors into this landscape. So as you can see, I played a lot with these earth tones and I tried like pink in the sky and different textures. it's very rough exploration. So if I, decide to take this like further and finish this, I would have a lot of work ahead of me just to add a lot of these details and finish the colors. Okay, this one, maybe it's a little bit too pale for my liking, but I quite like the composition that I explored here, and I think this can be nice in gouache or pencils. What I also like to do as I started with the digital art, now I usually paint or sketch something on my iPad, and then I can, mix the colors that I want and paint with gouache. I tried both, just mixing the colors and just painting with gouache right away, but I feel like I have still more control because I need more practice with traditional media. I am filling in sketchbooks as we speak, so that's something I still need to do. Okay. So I have this one. Okay, so actually this one I was painting outdoors and I wanted to create like more contrast and darker colors, but it was super bright and sunny outside, so the colors ended up a little bit different than I wanted, even though I was sitting in the shade. But usually I really enjoy drawing on my iPad, also outdoors, but this was very, very sunny day, so there was like a lot of reflections, but yeah, I can still adjust this one. So yeah, but otherwise this was fun session, drawing outside and like observing different tree shapes and basically green color tones. Let me go back. And yeah. So this one was based on a photo, and I think this is inspired by Canada, if I'm not mistaken. So like hiking and looking at like, lakes and mountains and like fjords in Scandinavia can be nice. So it's similar to, I would say, Canadian wilderness. I've never been there, but that's what I assume. And I try to play with different colors within the composition, still keeping balanced composition, but bringing more painterly style and more colors. So I'm more into this type of painting in my sketchbook currently. So yeah, let me know which one or which style do you like more. If it is more painterly style or more simplified geometric style, or what you are currently into, like what type of drawings do you make and paint digitally or traditionally. So I think this is enough for this video. You can watch this mountain as a tutorial if you want, like step by step, and then I think I will do another video more, animal edition. And oops. So anyway, animal edition and characters, because otherwise this video would be super, super long. So anyway, thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye!